Hello Harris Teeter shoppers, and welcome to Carolina Classics Catfish, where today we'll take you on a look from start to finish at our vertically integrated catfish farming and processing operation. We operate about 2,000 surface acres of water in eastern North Carolina, where we grow fish from the egg to about 1.5 pounds on average before they're processed, and then the fresh fillets are transported to your local Harris Teeter store. In our freshwater ponds, the water is approximately waist to chest deep. The fish are restocked each year, about 5,000 fish to the surface acre of water, where they swim around freely in schools and are fed every day a grain-fed, natural diet consisting mainly of corn, soy, and wheat. We'd cut approximately 1 foot of soil from the field and use that material to build up the levees on the sides. And then we flooded those ponds using aquifer water. We don't use a lot of water in production. Once we fill those ponds, we use annual rainwater to top them off. Our catfish production has a very small environmental footprint. We don't use a lot of water, we don't discharge water into the environment, and we have lots of natural wildlife that coexists with our farm and the fish on our farm. Production of fish all starts with the babies, and so we start with broodfish, and broodfish are approximately 10 pounds in size. We take males and females, which we sort and place them in special ponds, and then we provide cans for them to spawn in. The female lays the eggs, the male goes in and fertilizes the eggs and then sits on the eggs until they hatch. We remove the eggs, take them inside into our hatchery building. You start with a creamy colored egg mass or roe, and as that matures, it darkens up and becomes pink. As the eggs hatch, the fry drop to the bottom of the trough. We call those sack fried. And then after several days, they absorb the nutrients in that yolk sac and are ready to eat. And they're gray in color by then, and they look like tiny little catfish with little whiskers. They start swimming to the surface of the water, and that's when we begin feeding them a floating powdered feed inside the tanks, and we call them swim-up fry. You see the paddles turning inside the troughs, and this is to mimic the male in the wild as he sits on top of the eggs, swishing the water back and forth, keeping the egg masses oxygenated and also keeping them relatively clean. After about 10 days, these swim-up fry are ready to be moved out into the pond water in the first stage hatchery or fry ponds, where they get a head start in a zone of refuge in this net pen, and then they're released to swim around in the entire pond. He becomes a fingerling in about 9 months, ready to be moved to the grow-out ponds. But it's going to be 2 years before he's ready to be on the table at a Harris Teeter customer's house. A tractor on each side of the pond pulls the net through the water. They're picked up from the live car using a boom truck, loaded live into the tanks on the tractor trailer that hauls them away live to the processing plant. If you want more information about Carolina Classics Catfish, you can find us on the web at cccatfish.com.